Hello everyone, my name is Ahmad Omar from University of Florida. Today I am interviewing one of the HortLegend with his long experience in horticulture and as a member of the ASHS. And we would like to go through his journey with career and professional in horticulture. And I am interviewing Dr. Mike Arnold. So thank you very much for giving us the time so we can learn and the student and the young professional can learn from your career in horticulture.
Well, I appreciate this. Horticulture certainly done a great deal for me. I typically work in the area of ornamentals, so nursery production, landscape establishment, plant selection. And I've also had some administrative responsibilities, either as associate heads for undergraduate or graduate programs. And currently I'm half in the department, teaching and research, and I'm half in the Vice Chancellor and Dean's office running the gardens at Texas A&M University.
That's great. And I think you answered my first question to you, which was about what is your specialization and the primary position that you have held. So if you wanted to add anything more to this, you can add.
I'd be remiss in not adding that I've had the privilege to having several leadership opportunities in ASHS, which is something I'd encourage everybody to take advantage of. It's a great learning experience, very rewarding. So
that's excellent. So what has horticulture meant to your life and your career?
Well, I was fortunate. I grew up on a farm across the road from my grandfather. And from an early age, we were involved in horticultural crops. My very first job off the farm was helping to deliver floral crops for a florist on holidays when I was 12 years old. And then I grew crops to sell to local supermarkets, pumpkins, gourds, calico corn, things like that, and make a little money on the side. And then when I saved up to go to college, I worked for a while at a grocery store in their produce department, getting enough money to go to college. And then when I went to college, proceeded through a career from there. First in business and then into horticulture, and been a good combination, and on into grad school. So
that's wonderful. So what do you consider to be the most rewarding part of your career in horticulture?
Well, I've really enjoyed all of it. And I've been lucky enough to have options where I had teaching, research, outreach, and administrative opportunities. And I think if I had to go back and say, which one did you enjoy the most? It's the teaching. The impact you're able to make on other people's careers and lives, and hopefully what they're learning and taking forward. That's the real reward in the system.
That's wonderful. So how long have you been a member of the ASHS and how it's a long career,
I'm going to say,
yeah,
giving my age
how
away
that society influenced your career?
My very first ASHS meeting was in 1983 at Blacksburg, Virginia, and that was back when we did them on the campuses. And I was a brand new master's student, and so I went along with some other graduate students from our department at Ohio State and my advisors, and we went, and that was my first exposure, and it was the thing that hit me was being able to, I read papers that people had put out, I read textbooks that they'd put out, and all of a sudden I was putting faces to the names on those authors. And it was very quickly you realized that these folks that were kind of legends in your mind actually were just people. And they were approachable, and many of them later on were able to become friends and colleagues. And so that was my first exposure, and I've been to all but about two of them since then. So
that's wonderful. So with all of this, no long career and no as a member in ASHS, what advice you can offer to a student or the young professionals in horticulture?
That's a really good question. I think the things that I would encourage them to do is one, it's about networking and it's great to come to the meetings to learn the latest technology, the latest developments in your field, and that's certainly a big component of it. But an even more important component is in the hallways, meeting new people, making friendships and potential collaborators. Expanding the network of people you have available to assist you as you go through your career, and that just is my biggest advice to them. The other thing is to stretch your boundaries a little bit. Don't be afraid to reach outside your discipline and collaborate with someone who's doing something a little different. Some of my best collaborations were with people in, for instance, engineering fields where we developed new technologies, or we're with entomologists where we worked on pollinator research, things like that. So just say yes and take new opportunities.
That's wonderful. So what excites you most about the future of horticulture industry and the profession?
It's interesting. If you had asked me that 4 years ago before COVID, I would have had a very positive influence for you because I think horticulture throughout history has had a major influence. But even more so since COVID and since we have seen the effects of climate change, horticulture is going to be an incredibly important component of solutions for people in the future, not only in terms of our food supplies and developing crops and new ways of producing food and feeding people, but also in being able to mitigate the adverse effects in urban areas with heat island reduction and pollution remediation. Just horticulture is going to be as involved in solving those problems as any other science that I can think of.
That's wonderful, Mike. So at the end, on behalf of the media committee and ASH in large, I would like to thank you again for giving us some of your times and giving us this opportunity to learn from your long career in horticulture and experience. Thank you very much.
Well, I just want to thank ASHS for all their contributions they've made in my life over the years. So thank you.
Thank you.